Good afternoon, everyone. Please be seated. Before we begin today's event, I'd like to invite Vice President for Student Affairs, Jennifer Adams, to come up to the podium to honor the memory of Ayla Vukovic.
On August 15th, 2024, Ayla Vukovic, a returning senior from Utica in our College of Business, passed away in a tragic car accident on the Ohio Turnpike. Ayla was a cherished member of the SUNY Poly community, as well as the Utica and Mohawk Valley communities. She was loved and respected for her vibrant personality, outstanding academic performance, and dedicated community involvement. Ayla was an honor student, worked with children at the Bosnian Islamic Association, and danced with Bosanski Bahar, a folklore troupe focused on preserving Bosnian tradition, culture, and heritage. The loss of Ayla will be deeply felt by all who knew her. Please join me in a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SUNY Poly's Fall 2024 Convocation Ceremony. My name is Andy Russell. I'm the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs here at SUNY Poly. This special event formally marks the start of the academic year as our institution reaffirms its commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and the academic, cultural, and social growth of our entire community. Please allow me the privilege of introducing you to the members of the Platform Party. I ask that the members of the Platform Party stand and remain standing as they are introduced. Audience, please hold your applause until all are recognized. Dr. Abdullah Erolu, Dean of the College of Engineering. Dr. Mark Kittleson, Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Dr. Carly Phipps, Interim Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Rafael Romero, Interim Dean of the College of Business. Dr. Francia Reed, Co-Chair of the Undergraduate Nursing Programs. Ms. Jennifer Adams, Vice President for Student Affairs. And Dr. Winston Sobiejo, President. Please be seated. It is with great pleasure that I will introduce SUNY Poly's 7th President, Dr. Winston Sobiejo, who joined us last October, bringing over 3 decades of teaching, research, academic leadership, and industry experience to SUNY Poly and to the Mohawk Valley. Dr. Sobiejo holds a BSc in Engineering from King's College in London and a PhD in Material Science and Metallurgy from the University of Cambridge. He's previously been a member of the faculty at Princeton University, MIT, and The Ohio State University. And prior to joining SUNY Poly, he served as Worcester Polytechnic Institute's Provost and Senior Vice President. He has an exceptional record of achievement in engineering research and academic leadership, as well as impressive accomplishments in international development and a noteworthy track record in building global research and educational partnerships. Please join me in welcoming our President, Wally Sobiejo, to the podium.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us today at SUNY Poly's annual convocation. So to all our first year new and returning students, as well as new and returning faculty and staff, welcome to SUNY Polytechnic Institute's 2024-2025 academic year. A special thank you to each member of our dedicated faculty and staff. All of you are instrumental in delivering a top-tier education and collegiate experience to our students. So within this context, it's important to reflect on what a university really is and what it can do to transform the lives of people and communities around the world. So in my case, I was educated in a university that was established in 1209. 1209. And this was certainly not the first university to be established. It was actually the fourth university to be established in the world. The first of these was in El Karouin in Fez, Morocco. This was followed by Oxford University and Bologna University. And then Cambridge University, which is the college that I went to, was actually established in 1209 by a few folks who had different ideas that were kicked out of Oxford, who found their way to a new home in Cambridge. And when it started with different colleges that were not connected, but they were connected to this idea of learning in a certain way and teaching people how to think and think critically. And gradually those separate colleges emerged into a university that is now called Cambridge University. In our case, in the case of SUNY Poly, we were established in 1966 as an upper division college. And since then, what's interesting is when you go around this community and all around the state, you find that this college that started out as upper division college emerged into SUNY IT and today's SUNY Poly has one thing in common. And one thing it has in common is that everywhere you go, you find graduates of this great university that show that this is one of the best places to train people that are ready to work on day one and emerge into leadership positions in their own different ways. And the impact of our graduates is truly phenomenal. Everywhere I go, I find almost all the leaders in the region say, oh, we were students at SUNY IT, Upper Division College, and it did so much to prepare us for what we're doing today. And so the impact has been felt all across Mohawk Valley and beyond, and our graduates are known for their readiness to work and develop into leaders. And that's nice and lofty and somewhere in the future. And you're here because you think you're going to learn how to join a profession. And of course, I should tell you all about how you should study hard and work hard and do all those things that I'm supposed to tell you about. But I'm going to take a different approach in giving you 3 bits of advice that I wish I had had when I was at the stage that you're at today. So the first thing I'd like you to do in way of advice is to use your time at SUNY Poly for self-discovery. What does he mean by that? Self-discovery. I know who I am. You don't really know who you are. And one of the things that you come to college to do is to find out who you really are. Find out what makes you tick. Find out what your passion is in life. And also find out what your superpower is. And you don't know until you go through that journey of self-discovery, of discussions and interactions with different folks that you meet along the way. And ultimately, the true test of whether you really know the answer is when you can answer the question, what is your purpose in life? And nobody knows until you go through this process. But my God, when you find this out, you have a way of channeling your energy. Then the second thing is this, you think you come here to study individual disciplines. You want to be an engineer, you want to be a nurse, you want to be some professional. But I have news for you. The news that I have for you is that the most exciting space to be is at the interfaces between fields. And so explore those interfaces between fields by engaging in interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary learning and research, even as an undergrad. And so you might think you want to be an engineer, but you may also find that there are intersections with biology and biomedical engineering. You may think you want to be a computer scientist, but you may find that there are exciting opportunities at the interface between computing and AI, which is not so surprising, but it could be between computing and social work or some other area that is eclectically interesting to you. Explore those interfaces. Volunteer to be a researcher in a lab or a fly on the wall in a research group in a way that will transform you and lead you to paths yet undiscovered. And then the third thing that I'd like to invite you to do is to take advantage of your co-curricular activities to develop the leader in you. So whether you're volunteering to help out on the team, or you're captain, or you're helping to organize the schedules, all of those activities shape the leader in you in ways that transform you and prepare you for the future. So as you pursue these activities, please take time to strike a balance of work, life, and play. Each one of them is equally important for a healthy balance. What I found, which is really strange, is I do really well when I don't work too hard. I do really well when I sleep and take time to take care of myself. And by the way, when you exercise, which is something I used to do last century, my God, it's like it opens up your brain in a way that means that you can be so efficient in doing those things. And by the way, if you overdo the exercise, then you're too tired and you can't do anything. So that healthy balance of work, life, and play is hugely important. And so as you pursue these activities, take time to strike a balance of work, life, and play. Take time out of your daily activities to care for yourself and your well-being. And whatever that process is of quiet time to discover what's truly inside of you, give yourself that time to refresh. And remember, we're all social creatures. We weren't made to kind of live away from each other. We're made to come together in communities, in small groups, where we reinforce each other in ways that give us that energy for life. And so, as you go through all these different activities, even though you might feel a little awkward in that space where you don't quite know everybody, put yourself out there and know that others are feeling just as awkward and will be relieved when you talk to them, when you make friends with them in ways that really make them feel they're part of a community. And so I encourage you to engage in all aspects of SUNY Poly. Open yourself up to the diverse community. Within our community, we have people from more than 40 or 50 different areas of the world. What that means is that each conversation with them, each time you break bread with them, each time you participate in a dance or in something that connects you, you're really doing a lot to prepare yourself for the world as you immerse yourself in the SUNY experience that will prepare you for success in life. So at SUNY Poly, our student success, your success, is the core of everything that we do, and we will support you every step of the way. And so for me, it is truly a pleasure and an honor to serve as the 7th president of SUNY Poly. On behalf of the leadership team that's represented here, the College Council, our faculty and staff, and your fellow students, please join us as we write the next chapter of SUNY Poly's story and advance together as New York State's and the nation's premier public polytechnic. I wish you all a happy and fulfilling year. Thank you. So at this point, it is now my pleasure to move on to the awards portion of today's convocation ceremony as we celebrate two SUNY Poly employees who have been singled out for extraordinary recognition by the Chancellor of the State University of New York. So for more than 25 years, the Chancellor has annually acknowledged outstanding performance both in and out of the classroom by professionals across the university system through a program called the Chancellor's Award for Excellence. The recipient of the Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Adjunct Teaching was recently awarded to Gretchen Creason. So Gretchen has been an outstanding educator and significant contributor to the communications and media design curriculum. Her teaching philosophy is grounded in clarity and practicality. She works hard to create close-knit environments that are packed with practical, active learning experiences where students feel empowered to take risks and can develop their best work. She ensures that all course materials and detailed assignment expectations are available from the onset, enabling students to plan effectively and engage proactively with the course content. And her adept use of multimedia in the classroom, ranging from videos to animations, not only diversifies learning materials, but also consolidates key concepts, ensuring they resonate with students. Gretchen, would you please come forward to accept your award? Very good. Congratulations. Great. It's a pleasure. Oh. Great. So the recipient of the Chancellor's Award for Excellence for Faculty Service also happens to be today's keynote speaker, Dr. Francia Reed. So Dr. Francia Reed, a 22-year United States Air Force Air National Guard veteran, has over 2 decades of experience of teaching and as a nurse practitioner. She is a clinical assistant professor in the College of Health Sciences and co-chair of undergraduate nursing programs here at SUNY Poly. In addition to teaching and advising, Francia oversees the 1+2+1 partnership pathway, has developed new courses and contributes to curriculum redesign. She has also played an integral role in reaccreditation efforts and within committees across campus and in the SUNY system. We're lucky to have Francia as a member of our faculty and campus community, and she is very deserving of this honor. Please join me in welcoming Francia to the podium to accept her award and deliver today's keynote address. So, Gretchen Creason, please come forward. Francia.
So I'm vertically challenged. It's okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the honor of your time today. There are just a few things that I do want to address, and I hope to leave you with a couple of questions, actually. Whenever I teach, I try to put lessons into context, so I want to do the same thing today by starting with a brief personal story. And like in my classes, there may be some questions infused in the talk. So in those moments where I look for audience participation, if you know the answer to the questions, please speak out. Unlike normal classroom decorum, don't raise your hand. Today I just want you to shout out the answers if you know them. But let me first ask, are there any MCU fans in here today? Just show of hands. Raise your hands. Let me see who you are. Really? That's all? Raise your hands. Don't be shy. Okay, so there are a few. So hopefully you have my back, okay? A few years ago, several acquaintances of mine were engaged in a conversation talking about WandaVision. And they made it sound so interesting that I decided to watch it. Now, my son, who's sort of an MCU expert, if you will, he caught me watching WandaVision, and he stepped in to challenge me. He said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm watching this show." He goes, No, I know what this is, but you can't watch this." And I said, "Excuse me, I'm the mom, like you're the child. I don't think you get to tell me what I can watch." But then he asked me an important question. He said, "Do you understand it?" And I said, "No, I don't." I had to admit that. And he said, "Well, it's not going to make sense to you." And then that's when he began to explain to me that I haven't done the prerequisite work. Like any good teacher, he pointed out to me that WandaVision has prerequisites. So that was my aha moment. Now, I pride myself in being a lifelong learner. So during those pandemic isolation days, I signed up for, let's call it, online education from the Disney School. I wanted to increase my knowledge of the MCU and complete those prereqs. And thanks to my son, I followed the sort of syllabus that he laid out because he explained to me about how important it is to view the movies in the timeline order, not the production order. Now, periodically, like any good teacher, he would check on my progress. He'd often give me pop quizzes to assess my learning. If I was ever confused by what I had viewed, I'd find my teacher, and I'd ask him questions until things were clearer for me. So throughout the summer, we also engaged in various discussions where I could, demonstrate my mastery over the topics. Now, there was one time when I missed a key piece of information. I think it was one of those days where I was multitasking and I took my eyes off the screen. And those of you who are MCU fans, you know that that's dangerous. You can miss something important. So when I discussed my confusion, my teacher helped me to understand that I needed to go back. He's like, "No, you need to rewind and review that because you missed a key piece of information." He gently admonished me that, I needed to pay attention to what I was viewing. I needed to let the laundry go, I could do that later, and just pay attention and actually watch the movies. Now, he's a nice teacher, so I felt comfortable talking things out with him. And it's rather amazing to find out how much more things make sense to you when you actually follow the syllabus and listen to your teacher. So I learned quite a bit that summer and found a new appreciation for these characters who repeatedly work together to save our planet in every crisis. Now, fast forward to a shopping experience when I bought this plaque. I don't know if you're able to read it from where you are, but what it says is, "I'm a nurse. What's your superpower?" I loved it, so I bought it. Now, I've been a nurse for over 40 years, and I believe I'm a good nurse. But somehow, thinking of my nursing skills as a superpower just made me feel a little bit more special. Maybe stand a little taller, feel a little prouder. Now, I believe we all have superpowers. Now, some members of the MCU team, like, here comes your part, Bruce Banner, who is, thank you, and Peter Parker, who is, and Tony Stark, who's also known as, thank you, I think he's my favorite. They were either biochemically or mechanically altered to achieve their superpowers. And while they are all vital members of the team, I don't want to diminish what they bring. I want to talk about some other members of the team. So now, can you tell me who Natasha Romanoff is? Black Widow, right. Now, she was chosen for her role because of her intelligence. And her superpower is, let's call it defense, to be more politically correct. And as a retired military member myself, I describe her as a professional warrior. Her superpower was honed by her pursuit of excellence, her personal drive to be the best at her job. And her superpower benefits the whole team, right? Similarly, Clint Barton, also known as, thank you, Hawkeye is an ordinary person with extraordinary marksman skills as an archer. Again, another example of someone who hasn't been biochemically or mechanically altered, but he has a focused training that he has applied and a relentless pursuit of excellence. And he too benefits the whole team. Now, I'm not suggesting today that we should all become professional warriors or expert archers. We don't have to do that. But I am suggesting that just like Black Widow and Hawkeye, we each have the possibility to pursue excellence in whatever our superpower is that we possess. So I ask you again, what is your superpower? Or better still, what are your superpowers? Because you likely have more than one. Now, I'm a nurse, but I have other superpowers. I have a good sense of humor. I'm fun. I'm enthusiastic, and that's just to name a few. Now, superpowers, which can also be called gifts or talents, are those unique characteristics that we bring to whatever team we're on. And just like the Avengers, our whole team will benefit from our collective use of all of our superpowers. Now, perhaps your superpower is math. Anybody? Excellent. So you might be the go-to person when anybody needs help in understanding math issues. Or perhaps your superpower is listening. Anybody a good listener out there? Right. And so you're probably the person that your friends just seek you out when they need to talk because they know that you will listen to them. Perhaps it's your smile or sense of humor, and the atmosphere of a room just simply changes the moment you enter the room. Maybe it's your creativity that will lead to the next great bridge design or the next fun game design. Or maybe it's your compassion and ability to care that is leading you to social work or psychiatry or nursing. There is no end to the list of possible superpowers we each possess. So whether you already know your superpower or you're just discovering what it is, my challenge to you is to not keep it to yourself. You are part of a team now. You're part of the Wildcat team to begin with. You're going to be part of the class team, so to speak, when you're in your classes. You're part of the student body here at SUNY Poly, and you're a citizen now of Mohawk Valley. So these are each teams that you are on. We each have different powers or strengths, and we each are needed to make the team whole, to help achieve the overall mission. Now, I have one more question for you today. Why are you here? Now, I don't mean why are you here like at the convocation, because I think we know that you have some external pressure to be present at the convocation today, and that's okay. Me personally, I like convocation because I like that it signals the beginning of a fresh new start, a new year. I'm not behind in anything yet, so it's a new beginning, and I like new beginnings. But the bigger question is, why are you here in this area, in this moment, in Marcy, at SUNY Poly, in the Mohawk Valley? Now, you may be sitting there thinking, well, duh, I'm here to earn a degree so I can get a career, so I can start my life. And while that's part of it, I get that, I don't really believe in accidents or coincidences in you being here. I believe the question of why we are here is larger than any academic pursuit or any employment opportunity or any role on a sports team. And I think it's a good question that we need to ask ourselves periodically throughout life. Why am I here? I believe that we are here so we can make a difference, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of the other people around us. So I want to leave you with these words of encouragement. While you are here for these next few years, please take time to look around you. Look up from your phones, make eye contact with people, perhaps take out at least one earbud when you're walking around so you can hear when people are greeting you, and make some friends, meet some people. Instead of counting, the likes or virtual friends in social media, I challenge you to make some actual friends. As you meet people, you will begin to discover their superpowers, and then you can help them to understand what your superpowers are. As you do that, you may find that you are forging your own group of Avengers, so to speak, or your group of Wildcats. These will be your core support group for years to come, maybe even for the rest of your life. As you assemble your team, and as you learn to work together and appreciate each other's superpowers, I hope that just like those in the Marvel Universe, you will find that together you can face whatever the world throws your way. And although Thanos is inevitable, so he says, you can still be victorious. Thank you, and have a great semester.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I'm like you, I love Convocation. I like it in part because it's not because I'm not behind on anything. I'm behind on a few things, but it gives all the first-year students an opportunity to fix in your visual memory what's going to happen after you work hard and cross this stage. It'll look different when you graduate a few years from now. There's going to be more flowers. Stage will be bigger. There's going to be a stack of diploma covers right over there. You'll be dressed up in gowns. Your families will be here. We'll be here. And we'll be here as you walk across the stage to shake your hand and congratulate you. So I'm looking forward to that. I got to get back to the script now. It's now my pleasure to invite SUNY Poly's Vice President for Student Affairs, Ms. Jennifer Adams, back to the podium.
Thank you. I'm going to throw my script out in a minute. It's going to make everybody really nervous. As the convocation ends, I want to take a moment to express enthusiasm and hope for the journey we're about to embark upon together. Today marks not just the beginning of a new academic year, but the SUNY Poly continuation of shared commitment to personal growth, lifelong learning, and academic excellence. To our first-year students, I want to extend my deepest welcome to SUNY Poly. You have just completed your orientation, and I hope you're beginning to feel at home and ready to begin the new chapter of your life. The transition to college can be both thrilling and challenging, but you are not alone on your journey. Provost Russell and I had a required session with each one of you during orientation, and I hope you remember that we pointed out you have the resources to do so much more than thrive and then survive college. You're now a member of a supportive and encouraging community that's here to help you and succeed in everything you want to be. And I want to express our deepest gratitude to Francia Reed, our distinguished faculty member and keynote, who inspired me to go off script with her words. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and experience with us. I wasn't at Convocation last year, and I was in the middle of the worst moments of my adult life. And if anyone told me I would be at Convocation this year and be happy and full of gratitude, I would have thrown something at you. But I sat up here listening to Dr. Reed and looking out here at this audience of people who got me through my year. Because there were times when what was happening for me made me a terrible employee and a terrible colleague. And the people on this stage behind me reminded me that life is tough, but we've got your back. And they are all here for you. And I look at this group over here, and I see a whole lot of people who supported me and my family in a terrible time. And a whole bunch of them over here. And a whole team in athletics, and a whole team down in admission, who are here for you. And those superpowers that Dr. Reed talked about are in these chairs. And you will be those people for each other. So if there's anything I could share for you at your convocation and your opening to your SUNY Poly experience, it's that you're in a special and remarkable place. And you're not alone. And I am the best person to assure you that you are not alone. And when you're just surviving, you are just absolutely surrounded by a sea of people who will make sure you return to thriving. So for our faculty and staff, my heartfelt thanks. Thank you for the guidance and support you provide to one another and to our students. Thank you in advance for the time, care, and teaching you will invest in our students this year. And as we move forward into the academic year, let us all exemplify SUNY Poly's core values of accountability, community, empathy, gratitude, inclusion, innovation, kindness, and respect. And in closing, I encourage you all to show care for one another and stay passionate about your opportunities. Thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to seeing the incredible achievements that you will bring to this year and our future. Let's make this academic year one to remember. Thank you. This concludes the 2024 Convocation ceremony. Please help yourself to light refreshments that are out in the lobby on your way out. Thank you.